Hey everybody, it's Brian. Just wanted to reach out really quick before the episode starts and let you know that about 40 minutes into this episode, it's going to sound like two children are losing their minds. And that's because they are, and they're in a different room. And I don't know why I felt the need to give a disclaimer on it, but it still feels like the right choice, because even while editing, it definitely caught me off guard. So just so you know, it's not your kids, or if you don't have kids, you didn't steal some kids by accident. Everything's fine. Our kids were just a little grumpy. Okay, enjoy the episode. Bye! Yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers! Yeah! Welcome after the
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, we're not
2000s movie.
We're not talking about
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker!
that. Die Hard is a trilogy. There is not any more films.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother flippers.
Let's see, there's Live Free or Die Hard. I'm pretty sure that was a movie.
Yippee-ki-yay, I'm too old for this.
God, what was the Die Hard?
They are Die Hard in name only. The character of John McClane is not in those films.
What was that other Die Hard?
Good Day to Die Hard?
What?
Wasn't it a Good Day
Good
to Die
Day to Die Hard?
Yeah, where he
that...
fought the Klingons.
The stretching of the Fast and Furious names are better than that.
Oh, yeah. Well, now they've just given up. Now it's just, well, fuck it. Fast 8. Oh, no, they did do Fate of the Furious. Never mind that.
Yep.
Yeah.
What are they going to do with 9?
F9 of the Furious?
I have no idea. We're getting way off target here. So we need to stay on target.
Stay on target.
Stay on target. So, yeah, as I said earlier, welcome to the Hype. Me as always is Brian Dressel. With me as always is Jonathan Hardis.
Yeah, right here.
CHEWIE Darsa.
Hi.
And back. All again. Jesus, man.
From
the
a
amount of money you have to be
private
spending
jetliner.
on. I didn't know he took a private
Yeah,
jet.
he's
Jeez.
just throwing money and fuel out the
Had I known
stratosphere.
how much money Matt had, I'd been hitting him up for money this whole time I've been knowing him.
I actually had to throw £1 million out of the plane because of the weight.
He's a secret millionaire.
I don't need this.
We're not going to make it. Oh, I'll just throw this $1 million out. It's fine.
It's convenient. I got it in a briefcase, too.
Good Lord. So Matt Dykes is back. Hi, Matt.
Hi.
Hi.
So just kind of like me and John, if you want to hear Matt, he's all over the network this week. Got Venture Brothers, got After the Hype.
Yeah, he just spread himself all over the network, and we can't clean it up.
Way to whore yourself out, man.
Well, you know, if you're good at something.
Just spread it everywhere.
Oh, God, stop. Nope, we're done.
Just in all the crevices of the
I'm
web.
just getting visuals now, and I'm not okay with it.
I'll give you some audio.
That's spreadable.
Oh, God, no, we're done. We're
That's
done.
spreadable.
Die hard. Die hard.
That's spreadable dikes.
Die hard. Die hard.
That's how I'm going to die. I'm going to die hard.
Oh, never mind. It was worth it. It was definitely worth it.
All right, pack it up. We're done.
That's called a John McClane.
Oh, God, he probably is a sex position or something.
I'm sure he is. Let's do a...
It's where you keep your toes in the carpet.
Is it when you have sex with somebody's mom and go, yippee-ki-yay? Get it? Get it? You're looking at me like you don't.
No.
Motherfucker.
Motherfucker. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Ha. It was a good joke.
Yippee-ki-yay, you
Yeah.
and me.
So
I
this
need to try
Christmas
that.
movie is a very uplifting Christmas movie.
It really is.
Yeah.
But let's do a Where Have You Been Doing first. I want to know. I like the Where Have You Been Doings. CHEWIE apparently does not. Ah, crap.
I just keep rewatching The Office and Bob's Burgers. Like, I can't.
Could you say that to the microphone?
Yeah, can you do that a little bit closer?
No, but I already talked about those on previous episodes.
Well, yeah, but this is a new episode.
And people forget the previous episode, so there.
She's either watched Grimm, Once Upon, Bob's Burgers.
I haven't watched Once Upon in a while. Thank
That's
you
probably
very
a
much.
good thing.
You gave a really good
No.
studio tour.
Thank you. Oh, you did give Matt.
You know what? I'm just going to talk about my Where Have I Been Doing of our bleeding heart sadness.
Oh, good.
Our local comic book shop closed.
dare you bring that
Blast off.
Oh.
Rest in peace, Blast Off. We will miss you in North Hollywood off of Lancashire because you were, like I always say, Brian and I are not a very frequent customers. We are very infrequent customers pretty much everywhere except for Blast Off, which we actually really started to feel at home at.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then in Corn, like to crawl around on the floor and have a little bit of freedom and he won't have that
Well,
anymore.
and the place let him. So that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
That's
But-
We
valuable.
walk in and the manager would be like, just give me the kid. And we just hand the kid to
and
Chris.
then we could
And
shop.
then we go shop. And,
And
he
Corin was
just hang out.
happy about it. Like,
Yeah.
he thought it was great. So that's really too bad. And while we were there, we learned that one of the local employees, it's a weird thing to say,
I like it. I'm a local employee.
was a ex-writer on Grimm.
Oh, yeah.
And I was also doubled with my sadness of the store closing, was doubly sad that I'm like, I didn't realize I needed to be friends with this guy more.
He's a really cool guy.
So I briefly got to talk Grimm to him, and he thought it was funny that I was such a fan. And he told me that the ending of the series was potentially going to be aliens, and how that got shut down. I'm like, thank God. That wouldn't have been a very good way to end that show. So
They made the right call.
yeah, like it was still very like wishy-washy. It was like, is this a different dimension? Is this a different planet? Is it a different reality? Where exactly are we in the end of this series? Don't ask those questions. It's another demon coming through a window to destroy our area. So
I need to watch this show.
you do.
You know what? I'll say it now. That'll be my next show.
You'll watch Grimm?
I'll watch
I'm so
Grimm.
excited to rewatch Grimm with you.
I'm gonna watch it at my pace. So
There's-
you're gonna come in and out, but I will get through all of Grimm.
Oh my God.
I'm saying it now. I'm declaring it.
The episode where Frost
Don't spoil anything.
is actually a dragon lady is amazing.
What?
Yeah.
I just said don't spoil anything. You know what? I'm not watching it anymore. I'm kidding. I will definitely. That'll be my next
But-
thing.
So that's where I've been doing. I'm in mourning.
I have been reading, or I have read, because it's done now. So mine is also kind of bleak. Tomasi has been one of my favorite comic book writers in a long time, and has been writing. He was writing Superman, and then that got taken away from him to give him to Bendis. Tune in last week for what I think about Bendis, which is not bad, could be better. But when they took it away, he was in the middle of writing Super Sons, which was an ongoing series, and it was phenomenal. And they took it away, and he kind of had to stop because Bendis wanted to age up John a whole bunch, and it kind of ruined Super Sons. But DC gave Tomasi 12 issues to finish out Super Sons. And he wrote, in my opinion, one of the best runs of any character at DC to date. And that is the current run, or the former run, of Super Sons. If you like these characters at all, Damian Wayne or John Kent, this is the best series out there. It is so fucking good. And then it ended spectacularly, and even the last page almost brought a tear to my eye of, like, you know, whenever like a series ends, you always have a big the end. Like Johns did it when he finished Green Lantern. That's the only example coming to mind, but it's happened a lot. And for Tomasi, the very last end is the end, and right above it in very pretty cursive is never. So never the end. It's like, oh, well done. I love this series so much. That's it for me, though. John, what about you?
Still reading those Sookie Stackhouse books, and by the time this comes out, I'll be done with Dead as a Doornail.
Ooh.
So how are you enjoying the eroticism of these books? You haven't really talked about that.
It's fun. I think in the first book it was a little bit rougher, like maybe that's just because
The eroticism was rougher?
yeah, it was more awkward, not quite as well written.
Oh, when you say rough, I'm thinking good things.
Oh yeah, no, the last
Yeah.
book, the book before this one. The book before this one, where Eric loses his memory and Sookie has to keep him at her house for the whole time while they uncover a mystery that was
In his pants?
I mean,
they sex a lot.
it's her own personal overboard.
Yeah,
I'm overboard, and now you're overboard, and
yeah. It's just there's a couple chapters that are just like, okay, it's a good thing I'm on the road. Because
Are you sure it's a good thing you're on the road?
stop weaving, John.
this car's rocking on the parking lot. No, it was really,
Cars are getting really close to you. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's a good thing I had the AC working because it was very steamy. But yeah, no, they've gotten a lot hotter, I guess. Whenever I say that, I keep thinking of
You
Peter
had to do the fucking Paris Hilton version of hot?
hot.
That's hot.
No, see, but my mind goes to like the Peter Griffin being like, and then that happens, and that's hot. But no, it's been fun, and every book is a mystery, which I didn't realize necessarily that the author came from a mystery writing background, and it makes a lot more sense now that there's just,
I can see that, yeah.
and the mysteries are fun. This one in Dead as a Doornail, the shifters are being singled out and sniped. Like there's a sniper out there taking them out, trying to take them out.
Skrulls?
The what?
Scrolls?
Shifters.
The shifters.
They,
Yes.
they weren't,
Yes.
They weren't in the show, really.
Yeah.
I'm making a joke.
Yeah. Hilarious.
It wasn't a good one.
Captain Holt voice. Hilarious. But no, yeah. So then she's got.
That was the most hilarious story I've ever heard.
That's the reaction my joke deserved.
Yeah. But yeah, so she's got to figure out who's doing it, and I'll know who did it once this comes out, but I don't know it right now, so I'm just on the edge of my seat, so to speak. And
It's Bill.
probably Bill.
I have no idea.
Bill is starting to like take a back seat to this. Like we barely see him in these books now, and it's so weird because he was like the very forefront of the whole show with Sookie. And
I think it's Gerald.
It's probably Gerald.
yeah.
Fucking Gerald, man.
And then now the fairies are coming in. She's got that fairy godmother character who like the show just kind of does away with really quick.
Good.
But it's a lot different in the books. Like we're now diverged from the show so much that I'm just like,
Good.
yeah. And the weird thing though is Tara is a white woman in Shreveport who owns a beauty salon or a fashion, like a clothing store.
Tara can never be as bad as she was in the show.
Right.
My God, I hated that character.
But yeah,
What about you?
Well, to be honest, I haven't really been able to watch much while I've been here because I've been going out, seeing LA and shooting guns and...
But you flew back to England.
Yeah,
So
and
what
then
did-
flew back the next day.
Oh, okay.
I decided
You didn't watch anything on your second plane ride?
No. 20 hours is a long
You
time.
know,
to
with
sleep.
that amount of jet lag, you're just lucky he can talk.
Well, shit, we lost him.
God. I still remember the day after we got back from Minnesota of a jet lag baby picking up from the freaking daycare, and he's just asleep next to one of his teachers with another baby on her lap, they were not being quiet, and Corn's just passed out. I'm like, oh, jet lag baby.
Jet lag babies are funny babies. Are we ready to talk about Die Hard? I'm just going to
Yeah.
move past Max since he didn't really have anything to say. Is that okay with you, Matt? You're not offended, right?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
I was going to point out that I'm going to go see the Nakatomi Plaza tomorrow, but never mind.
Well, you can mention that when we're talking about Nakatomi Plaza
The
here.
future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The future.
Don't worry. You'll have time to talk about it.
Where I will be doing.
Yeah, there you go.
but as if you've already done it.
Yeah.
Get with the time, man.
Yeah.
Time is a flat circle.
Oh, God, no.
I thought it was wibbly wobbly.
It is wibbly wobbly.
It's a wibbly wobbly circle.
It's a
not-
wibbly wobbly timey-wimey circle.
Yeah, it's not a flat circle. Actually, no, that first season was really good.
Yeah, it was.
It was really good. And then, oof. We're not going down that road.
But we are going to go down a different road.
We're going to go down a different road.
We're going to go
Hey,
up a tower.
Up a tower. Not a skyscraper, but a tower.
Yeah.
We need to do an episode on skyscraper at some point. Although that would mean I'd have to rewatch
We
skyscraper.
might have to go around a plaza.
Oh, my God. So, Matt, your favorite movie is Die Hard, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Would you say it's a flawless film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't remove anything without losing. You'd have like plot holes, and there is nothing that you need adding in to fill any plot holes. It's just, to me, it's everything's there. It's like the perfect amount of length. It's got the perfect pacing.
Could you say everything that happens to it in like 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Let's see if you can.
I can do it in 5.
You can do it in 5?
Yep.
Well, I'm going to give you 30. And if you just need to take a victory lap for 25 seconds, that's up to you.
We will wait in silence while you do that victory lap.
We will. And then in the edit, it will not sound like that at all. Because I'm not going to waste people's time like that. But here you go. 30 seconds. We haven't done a 30-second breakdown in some time. But now I just
No.
want to see if Matt can do it. 30 seconds, Die Hard. Here we go, 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 go!
Bruce Willis comes to LA to meet up with his estranged wife. There's some terrorists, and he saves
That's
the day.
5 seconds, by the way. Oh, wow. You were done. Jesus Christ. Well, then well done. Yeah, you were right. 5 seconds on the dot.
And you know what? I actually didn't practice that.
I mean, I was going to say it shows, but I mean, no, that was a good thing. I mean, you didn't mention fucking anything from the movie, but that's what the rest of the episode's for.
Yeah. It's a basic outline of the story.
No, you're
It's a
absolutely
log
right.
line.
It is
Yeah.
a log line. It's a very like 1 to 2 elevator pitch. It's like
Yeah.
you have 5 seconds.
Impress me.
I'm only going up to the second floor.
I'm going to the mezzanine level. You got 1 second.
Well, I got a whole plaza to tell you about.
So Die Hard, it is often claimed to be the greatest action film of all time. If not that, just a great action film. And I kind of want to go around the table. We know where Matt's at, as he just clearly stated. Where do we land on this thing? Like, does it hold up to the lofty claims of what people say it is? John, what do you think?
I haven't seen the movie nearly as much as maybe you guys have.
Right.
But on the rewatch, it was entertaining. I was, watching it the whole time. I was trying to do other things at the same time, but I couldn't. It kept my attention. It did what it needed to do, and it was very entertaining. So yeah, I think it holds up.
Sure.
But again, like that's probably the third time I've seen the movie, so I'm not nearly quite as a fan of it.
Okay.
But for me, it still works. It still has an energy and a pop to it.
Cool. Sure. What about you?
I didn't see this when I was younger. Growing up
Had you seen it before?
a young girl.
Had you seen it before we started dating? Because I know I showed it to you
Nope.
a couple years ago. Oh, wow.
Nope. I hadn't seen any of these movies since we started dating. I still have yet to see any of the other ones. You were going to start making me watch them.
I was. I think I bought them to show them to you.
Well,
We
yeah.
watched that first one. I went, I'm good.
The other two, that's fine. There's only two of these.
But there's
so-
4 in my
Shut up.
box.
I will say, it is a very good action movie. Oh,
That feels like a very low review for
No,
Die Hard.
it is quite exceptional in its action-y. It is like a fantastic male fantasy.
Oh, boy.
I will tell you that. And if I had to choose between this or Con Air, I would totally choose Die Hard first.
I mean, I don't know why you immediately went to Con Air.
I am very curious
If
about
I'm
that.
gonna talk,
Yeah.
if I'm
Of all the other action films that were available, Con Air.
because it's the
Southern
level of
Southern drawl Nicolas Cage. School is very important.
It's the level
Put
of
the bunny back in the
testosterone
box.
present in these movies.
Oh, sure.
And-
I'll give you that, yeah.
And while Con Air drips with testosterone, Die Hard has it in spades, but it's not losing control of it.
So it's not dripping it.
Con Air loses control of its testosterone. It just becomes a mess.
It just pours out.
It
It's
just pours out.
I'm trying to get a mental image of this, and I've got spades and like dripping things.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want a mental image, go back to our episode on Frozen and listen to how we talk about how Disney celebrated getting Frozen out.
It was a slide of semen through the office.
One of those slip and slides.
Yes,
Yeah,
covered
but
in semen because they made so much freaking money off of Frozen.
They just couldn't stop coming everywhere.
They just jizzed all the money out across the floor.
But see, it was a very disappointing slip and slide, though, right? Because it just you go stop.
It's very gloopy.
Oh,
Why'd you say gloopy?
Semen. No. You need to go to the doctor.
That's it. Go fly back home.
It's like curdled milk.
But so yeah, I still enjoy watching this movie.
Good segue.
Way to bring it back.
How much of that's
I
going to
don't
get cut
have
out?
I don't have
None
the
of it.
nostalgia for it like you guys do. I don't have the idealistic like masculine image that you guys do.
Well, I mean, that's kind of why I was excited to have you on for it. And it's because I honestly feel, and like that's where I think the biggest problem with the movie is that this one is kind of the quintessential guy movie. Like, find me a guy who doesn't like Die Hard. Like, I know they're out there, I know they exist, but most dudes enjoy it, at least at a base level.
I'll
find
tell
it
you
good.
why, though. Because Die Hard was the first action film that had a relatable character.
What?
That's well,
No,
because the 80s,
John McClane. Like, look at the 80s, especially the 80s action films around the time. You can't relate to Arnold Schwarzenegger. You can't relate to Sylvester Stallone.
I mean, I'm swole like both of them. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They were always
This is a podcast. They don't know.
Yeah, they were always the best at what they would do. They were always like, the toughest, strongest. Like, John McClane was a cop. He was a blue collar
the
guy.
closest I could get would be Indiana Jones.
But even then, he was the best at what he does. He was,
But there's a subconscious, like, there's a difference when you're watching those, that the adventure film is more of like exploring the deep, these deep areas. Like, the exploration is the thing.
Yeah.
Die Hard, for
and
all
Indiana
its
Jones-
craziness, is more grounded.
Yeah,
Like a
Indiana
fan.
Jones wanted to do these things. John McClane, if he could have done, he would have run out of that door. Because like the terrorists come through, what's the first thing he does? He runs away. He doesn't go out and start shooting at them. He runs away and hides, and tries to call the police. No other action star or hero or film, anything like that, would have had that in it. If that had been Arnold Schwarzenegger or anything like that, he'd have run out and he'd have killed all the terrorists, and the film in that sort of location would have been done.
He would have crushed him with his bicep, and it's like, that's cool.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we can't, we're distanced.
Well, no,
Yeah.
there's something really interesting, kind of like to what Matt's saying, of the hero that is only doing it because he has to.
Yeah.
Because
the reluctant hero.
Yeah, because every other plan he had failed.
Yeah.
Hide and call the cops. Cops aren't showing up because they don't believe him.
Yeah.
And then hiding clearly isn't going to work. I mean, it probably would have because he wasn't in the main room. He probably could have hid throughout the whole thing if he really wanted to.
And then when the cops do turn
but
up,
he also wanted to make sure they didn't kill his wife.
Yeah, that was
the main reason that he gets
Yeah.
super involved.
Yeah.
But it's still that sort of thing of like, he has to get involved. He doesn't choose to get involved. He's like, oh shit, I have to do this. And that's the quintessential core of the McClane character. Every single one of these films, I'm not talking about
All 5 of them?
all 3 of them. That's one of my issues with the other 2 supposed Die Hard films, which I'm not going to go into because that would just be the entire podcast of me ranting. Every single one of them, he has to. He never volunteers for anything. You know, Die Hard 2, he's stuck in the airport. He has to do it. Die Hard 3, he is the only one. You know, he's not even an active police officer. It's like Simon says, John McClane has to do this, and throughout the whole thing, he's like, oh, for fuck's sake, why?
Is this why his marriage eventually fails?
I mean, his marriage failed from the beginning because he's a shitty fucking
Yeah, because
husband.
it means the whole I don't have to do it, so I don't want to.
But honestly, that's kind of like to jump into why I'm not the diehard fanboy that most dudes are, and maybe it's just me. I don't know, but when I was growing up and when I saw this thing, I always kind of found him hard to deal with, and it just because of that, he's kind of a shitty husband, and you never really.
It definitely is, but it's that whole thing of the argument. It comes from he has the argument, but he immediately knows that he's said a shitty thing. So as soon as she walks out the door, he bangs it on the thing. It's like, yeah, very good, well done, John, very mature, and that sort of thing. He knows he's shitty at that point, which is why my favourite scene in the whole film is the bit where he's pulling the glass out of his feet and he's on the radio saying, "Find my wife, tell her that John said I'm sorry." Yeah, and it's that sort of thing. He never said he was sorry, and now he.
And it's not a knock against this movie, obviously, because if this movie on its own, it does not address this problem. But the 2 sequels really destroy the sincerity of that moment.
Yeah.
Well,
because he doesn't actually learn from it. But, I mean, just judging the movie on its own, we don't have that problem.
That's actually very true to his character, though.
That's all.
Because,
Yeah.
I mean, John McClane is a very real guy like that. The idea of the cowboy.
Yeah.
Where a lot, and you reluctant, but the fantasy of even... if I don't want to do it, I'm going to be the best at it. I mean, he's the most sneakiest. And this movie does that super well. I mean, it's the same sort of thing when we were talking about the Quentin Tarantino movies and Kill Bill. It's a fantasy.
Yeah.
It's for real, a fantasy. And this movie fulfills that fantasy very well, fantastically. And you have your victory moments. You have the moments of, where you feel like maybe I won't win, but then you truly do. And... with these type of guys, within him is he's gonna, in this genuine moment, he's going to say, I'm sorry. And a lot of times, but when he gets in front of her and stuff, he's always gonna put his foot in his mouth because of pride. Once you strip a dude like that of their pride, then they're sincere. But if they feel like they can hold on to their pride, they're going to put their foot in their mouth. And that's the entire thing of his character in this film is... he has to deal with that the entire time because he has to realize the whole reason he's there is because of his pride. Because he didn't initially come to Los Angeles with his wife to support her for her well-paying job and being really successful at it. He was like, no, I'm a cop in New York and I got a lot of paperwork and thugs to put away. And so it's just it's all about that. If he hadn't been that way before, they wouldn't be... in Nakatomi Plaza on Christmas Eve. They would have been at home with their kids. Yeah, I truly believe that.
Oh yeah, the idea of going to an office Christmas party... the entire
situation is because of his pride.
Well, I mean, his pride did not get Hans Gruber to want to steal.
Well, no, but the whole reason that they are there is because of that.
Yeah, that's a deleted scene. Yeah.
It all would have happened.
That cop is too prideful.
He's like, that cop is too prideful.
Whatever. I'm just dissecting his character.
No, I'm going to help him his marriage out by giving him something that he can be not prideful about.
No, I'm going to
really hope I don't
I'm
fall
going
out
to
of a
check
window.
him on this. But yeah, if all of that hadn't have happened, I mean, they would have won. They would have gotten the money and they would have left because there wouldn't have been anyone standing in their way except for Mr. Beard, Mr. Talky Talk. And
Yeah, but even
being
that
so
guy
dope.
wouldn't have been a problem because he's not trying to get in the way of Holly anymore. So really, the only person who would have still died, for sure. I mean, you never know. Maybe somebody else would
No,
have
they will all have died.
Oh, yeah, because they're going to blow up the
Yeah,
roof.
they're
Yeah.
gonna
The
blow it
plan
up.
to blow up
Yeah.
the roof. Everyone would have died.
Yeah, everyone would have
So
died.
John saved everybody.
Because he was
So
a
his
shitty
pride,
husband.
because he was a shitty husband, people lived.
So the
So
takeaway is,
your argument is right, but it definitely gives the wrong message.
but see, yeah, the takeaway is definitely be a shitty husband.
Yeah. No, it's funny.
Okay.
Like, the thing of the argument actually, like that ended up in the script because in the original book, it's.
You've read the book, right?
I've read the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking difficult to get hold of. It's really expensive. So I got an ebook of it. I'm not paying £200 for a book in acceptable condition.
Was that quote unquote acceptable?
Yeah, which
It's
means
not on fire anymore.
you get half the book and then you got to put the rest of the pages in. No, I've read the original book. It's there. That Die Hard, like it's there. The story's there, but the character's older. It's his daughter, not his wife.
Oh.
Oh.
There's a lot more internalized stuff in it. There's a lot.
Does
more...
he say yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker?
No.
I'm not reading this book.
It doesn't sound like he's so much of a cowboy.
Yeah, the ending's like super dark. Like it's the same sort of standoff, but both Gruber and his daughter go out the window.
Oh, God.
And then he basically is bleeding to death at the end of the book and succumbs to his wounds, and you're led to believe he dies as well. Spoiler alert.
So Mary Elizabeth Weinstein dies?
Well, it would have been his. Shut up. It's
I see what you're doing, and I like it.
I'm just going to keep bringing those movies now that I know how much they annoy Matt. I would have just done those too had I known I was getting this much of a rise out of them.
such a dick.
It's just a battle of those last two movies,
Yeah.
and we're talking about how great they are
Yeah.
to Matt.
I would rather shit in my hands and clap.
Do you remember that time when he jumped on the plane? That was so believable and awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And I like that they got rid of the word fuck. Like, that just, it rubs me the wrong way.
I know
To
it
talk
hurts my ears.
To talk about something I do really appreciate about this movie is that his wife is never really in distress.
She's never a damsel.
She
No,
is so
she is so fucking strong.
yeah,
Like,
she's so composed.
What
and
idiot put you in charge?
She just
You
knows
did.
how to talk to this guy. Like you almost feel like Gruber respects her because of how well she's able to.
There's no almost about it. He
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
respects her.
And
Definitely.
then he's really angry when it turns out that she's the one that he needed to be controlling the whole time.
And he feels like betrayed by that.
Yeah.
It's so
It
good.
was
Yeah.
you.
And it's just like, this is what I mean, like, it's a perfect film of setups and payoffs.
Yeah.
She's pissed off at him, she slams the photograph down, set up.
Yeah. The only
Yeah.
thing that
Payoff, he picks the photo up.
the thing
Oh,
that I
it's so
really
good.
wish
Yeah.
that they hadn't have done with her character is that when he comes at her, I wish they hadn't have disheveled her outfit. When you start to see her side boob and her bra and stuff, I'm like, really, we've kept her incredibly non-sexualized and empowered this entire time.
I wouldn't say it's sexualized.
Whenever you see a
it's
woman,
very,
it's just small, but
tiny.
it's still a thing. It's a sticking point for me of how often a woman can be on screen and not be sexualized in some way in a movie.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing at the end of Alien when
yeah.
she
Alien
when
was
suddenly
way more
she's in
sexual,
her
yeah.
she's a really great strong female character the whole time. We end the movie in her panties.
Yeah.
Right, but
It's
and
just
from
like,
the ground
come
up shot.
on.
Oh, yeah. I think Alien is a little bit more...
It's way worse,
Yeah,
but it's still the same sort of thing.
In this movie's defense, and I've seen this movie more times than I can actually count. Like, I was talking to Matt a little bit before we started recording. Like, I think I've seen it too many times at this point. I've never noticed that. You mentioning it now makes me go, I need to go back and rewatch it. Like, that is something like...
I just pointed it out while we were rewatching it.
Oh, I remember you saying it and me just going, I don't know what you're talking about.
I
Like,
said,
it just-
"There's her boob," and you're like, "Wait, where?" I'm like, it's right there.
That does sound like me.
Interesting.
But that even points out even more. Like, there's a boob. What?
Yeah.
Where? Like,
But-
it just
Yeah,
never
it's not
clued in.
like other films where they'd focus in on it
But
or
that,
something
to
like
me,
that.
that
It's
just that to me personally, that makes it more glaring because what was the purpose of it?
I think it's
Oh,
just...
that doesn't make it okay. It really does feel more like I gotta put something in here. It's like the topless girl, like when they blow open the doors and the people having sex. You have to have the topless girl run
Yeah.
out of the room first. It's
Like,
okay,
at what point was Hans Gruber pulling at her shirt? When did that happen?
It does rag her around, but
Yeah.
I guess, but it's a
because-
gigantic 80s powered shirt, so they're huge. There's fabric to spare.
Well, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just think that it's unfortunately, very unfortunately,
Yeah.
a product of its time at that.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah.
just it's a nitpicky thing.
It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, it could have been worse. And I mean, if that's what we're going after to try to say like what didn't work in this movie, I
Well,
think that's
yeah.
a pretty.
Well,
Yeah.
this is
Pretty
one of
high
my
marks.
criticisms. Yeah, I do appreciate how filthy he gets throughout the film. McClane. He
Oh,
starts
yeah.
out in a like fully clean wife beater, and then by the end of it, it's completely covered in blood and dirt and
Yeah.
I do remember
dark
that.
brown.
So
I do remember that being taught in film school about like design and like clothing and fashion being a means to tell a story. So like,
and that's one of the things that really nobody talks about with Die Hard is I think the costumes are on point for everyone.
Yeah.
Like I really like the design. Like everyone feels like they were designed.
The nerd
from the
has a
ground
nerdy
up.
sweater on.
Exactly. Like everyone, like they put time and effort into this, which I mean, for just kind of
I'm
what
not-
could have been a schlocky action movie.
Yeah.
Like just the amount of care is impressive.
and
I
I,
didn't
did
really
get like
understand why the blonde nerd was wearing sweatpants the whole time. That was a little weird to me. But he gets murdered pretty fast.
Yeah.
And then
he's not around long
his
enough for me to
brother
care.
with the Fabio look, it gets all crazy.
I love that guy, and I mostly love that guy because of the way that fucking what's his name, Danny in Last Action Hero describes him. Like in Die Hard, he's hanging there from the fucking neck. He gets really excited about it. It just brings me joy. But we haven't really talked that much about Hans Gruber, and I feel like we must.
Yeah,
because
we have to because
He's one of the best
Rest
movie
in
villains.
peace, Alan
and,
Rickman.
and
Yeah.
and this is the thing. It's like he's played like he's the good guy,
Yeah.
and it's like John McClane's getting in my way. This is annoying, and it's like Alan Rickman's character is the catalyst for the entire film. Without him in there, there's no film.
Oh yeah, and he does a very good job of something that I feel like everyone is doing to a point that annoys the fuck out of me now, which is he is the hero in his own story.
Yeah.
And I think he like this one called for it, and I think he does a really good job with it. And it's something to use in 3 when his brother in
Yeah.
3, like when it comes back. It's like from Alan Rickman's point of view, he's doing everything right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
yes, he's a thief, but he's doing a thief because that's what he does, and he is an exceptional
Yeah.
thief. He even
And-
says so.
Yeah. there's-
In his pride, it's a good mirror to McClane a little bit with
Yeah.
the pride thing, because he could stop. He could stop and they could leave, accept defeat, and everyone would be fine.
Yeah.
But his pride gets in the way.
Because he's
and
planned everything
Yeah,
out.
he's
and
just like,
yeah.
it's still,
Yeah.
we're surrounded by cops, but we're still going to get this
Well,
money.
the
Well, 'cause
comp-
that was part of the
comp
plan.
was
Yeah.
part
Yeah.
of the plan.
And that's
This
why
is the
I
thing.
love the part when Miss McClane, because I can't remember her
Holly.
first name, Holly, just looks
Holly
at
Gennaro.
him. Yeah, she looks at him and goes, all the swagger and still just a common thief.
Yeah.
And he just, it irks him.
Yeah.
Like,
I
that
am
makes him
exceptional
mad.
thief,
Oh,
Mr.
yeah.
Gennaro. And since I'm moving up to kidnapping, you should be more polite.
Like, that's a great moment.
It's like
Every moment with him is a
Yeah.
great moment.
Yeah.
Like
if you like, I have a theory on this whole like the bit where he kills Takagi. You take that out of the film. By the end of the film, by the time he starts doing all the nasty stuff that he does at the end of the film, by the time he gets there, it's too late. You are wanting him to win. You have to have that really gruesome, brutal murder of Takagi in there to not root for him. Because he is so charismatic, he is so charming, he is so just nice. I mean,
you're almost on his side, perversely enough.
Yeah.
You get
And that's-
Stockholm Syndrome
Yeah.
to viewership.
And that's why it's so important that he kills Takagi and not just, I forget his name, Beardo McDoucheface.
Yeah.
That's
like,
a good enough name.
Well, that's the thing is if it was only doucheface,
Yeah.
we'd have been like,
Beardo
well, he deserved.
McDoucheface, please.
We're like,
Beardo.
yeah.
Yeah, if that was the only guy they killed, it'd be like, well, he was a doucheface.
I wanted him to die.
Yeah, exactly. So, and Takagi seems like a legitimate good dude.
Yeah, he's just a nice guy. I mean, like, to the point where Holly's there, like, don't move, and then he's like going around, he's like, talking about his history. It's like interned Manzanar, 1942, 43, and like looking at all these people, and then Takagi's just like, enough, and he just sort of like, he's like,
Yeah.
there, he's like, no, stop, I'm Takagi.
I did want
Yeah.
to call out the interesting interplay between the criminals, the terrorists. I felt like they had a history together, which is something I don't necessarily think that any action movie really tends to focus on, or that I've noticed in any of them.
Beyond, like, unless they're like a family criminal, like, thing.
Right, unless they're a family criminal thing.
Yeah.
Like this one, they each had like they would talk to each other with their face, like their face and their eyes, and be like, no, over here, or like they had like this.
They weren't just henchmen.
They weren't just henchmen.
No.
They were
a
friends.
crew.
They were a crew. Yeah.
Like they were like Dominic Toretto's crew. Like if you go back to like the original like Fast and Furious where they were criminals, like that's kind of what they are. Like they pull all these jobs
They're
together.
not quite
they
as
know
fashionable.
But I didn't realize
I mean Dominic Toretto's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
He's no Hans Gruber. I love Dominic Toretto. Do not take me the wrong way.
I would watch a movie just them talking.
You'd have excellent Hans Gruber.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Don't mess with my family.
My family. Do you want a what is it?
Corona.
Corona.
You want a Corona Gruber?
He'd be like,
You can have it in the
Corona.
house as long as it's Corona.
But yeah, I didn't realize that was that really drew me in this time watching it through. Just the fact that the criminals felt real, not just two-dimensional. We're the bad guys. It was more of these guys were all their own Robin Hood and Prince of Thieves kind of going through. And
the one that really stands out for me, like that really puts that across, is I forget the actual character's name, but the actor's called Al something or other, and he's basically 80s Chinese Oriental bad guy. He's in like Lethal Weapon. He's in
Big Trouble in Little China.
He's in loads of things. I think he's a stuntman as well.
I think so, yeah.
But there's the scene where they're getting ready, the SWAT's coming, and he's waiting. And he looks down, there's a chocolate bar. He looks up, he looks back down, then he looks to the side, and then he reaches in and grabs the chocolate bar. It's those little moments there that sort of like turn these characters.
I'm still a thief.
Yeah, it's like, you could have just had him just sort of like waiting, and then it'd been fine. But those little moments, it's just like, I really want a chocolate bar. And it makes them more real.
Even Beardy McDoucheface with the Coca-Cola. That was his demand to have a Coca-Cola in a glass while he was doing his sales pitch.
Yeah.
Well, and it just goes back to what I said earlier of like the amount of care in this movie. Like it's what makes it more than just that action movie from the 80s. Like there's how many action movies came out in the 80s? There's like fucking one a week.
Jesus, loads. And like, half of them were Stallone, half of them were Schwarzenegger.
Exactly. So like
The body oil industry did great in the 80s.
And one thing
never recover.
that you
And there is body oil in this movie too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It's just covered in grease.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that they taught us in film school about this movie, because Die Hard and Alien 3, I think, was the one that they really pushed hard when I was in school. And
Alien 3, that was a Columbia thing. That's not most film schools. Yeah. Most film schools do not make us.
But why
dive
would you
into
put those
fucking
together?
it's a weird thing. But the point for Die Hard was the specificity of the candy bar, the Coca-Cola, things like that. And
Alien 3 was all about the thousands of scripts. They're like, nah, this one won't work. This one won't work. All of these would have worked better than the one you fucking chose.
But what does that? Do they teach that in tandem with Die Hard?
No.
Okay.
Different
They're
times.
the two
Different.
most
That's why I was
common-
confused.
Those were the
Columbia-
two big ones that were taught.
Today
over
we're
time.
comparing Die Hard and Alien 3.
I mean, they
every
do
class.
both take place in one building
Yes.
Yeah.
with criminals.
A lot of dudes,
Also
one woman.
true.
A lot of dudes, one woman.
Yep. Okay. Although there's a lot of women in the room that we're not.
There's a bunch of women in this movie. They
One
just don't-
speaking role.
And you've
No,
there's-
the pregnant lady.
just going back to
And
the
then-
pregnant lady part is another thing that builds up the Hans Gruber character, where she says, we've got a pregnant woman out there, and he's immediately like, oh God. And she's like, no, she's not due for a week, but sitting on that rock's not doing her back. Anyway, can I move her to an office where there's a sofa? And he's like, no, but I'll have a sofa brought out to you. He could have just said, no, fuck off.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, I'll have a sofa brought out to you. Good enough. And he asks the question, it's like, is that good enough? And then she's like, yeah.
And
it's
an
a
interesting
conversation.
Thing. It's an interesting way to be a villain and ask for that conversation is weird in a villain kind of heroine sort of dichotomy there. It's
It's literally like she's asking her boss. Can we just...
Even so, as a villain, that is great tactics.
Yeah.
Because if you can seem like a reasonable man, that's how Stockholm Syndrome works.
Yeah.
You make people believe that there's a part of you that worries about your well-being.
But
Well,
they could have.
it's
He
not
just
even
as easily gone the other way, and he could have just been like a generic mustache twirling bad guy.
Yeah.
But that's what makes Die Hard so iconic. I think the fact that the villain was so relatable, as relatable as the hero.
I think it doesn't work into relatability. Like, I don't think he's doing it out of a moral stance. Like what I was saying, I think he's doing it out of like a conniving way of knowing how to control these people. Because at the end, he just is going to kill all of them.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not sure if it's the faux relatability.
Yeah.
It's the
But that's
audience.
what I mean. He's
Because
using it
watching
as
the
a
first time,
weapon.
You don't know that.
It's not a moral thing.
It's the quality of the filmmaking, the quality of the performance going, do we believe the same thing that Holly is believing in this moment? Like, that he really does care that she's uncomfortable right now. Because we don't know that he's going to kill everybody until maybe, 2/3 of the way in?
Yeah, because that's the thing, you don't know at the time. Like, the first time you ever watch it, you don't know at the time what the ending's going to be.
Yeah, I get all that.
But, like, that's kind of, like, that's why I think it works. Like,
That's why
I think
when he flicks that switch as well, when he does become just brutal, and it's, like, in just very...
He's just a criminal.
Yeah.
And it's interesting,
An exceptional
again,
criminal.
In the books, it was just terrorism. And they turned it, for a film, they turned it into a heist film.
Here's a question that I didn't know.
What did they want the money for? I don't even know.
They just wanted to go to a beach and earn 20%.
Yeah, what does everybody want money for? To have
It
money.
costs a lot to go to the beach.
I think they were buying their own island.
Was the shoes thing in the movie or no? Or in the book? I know it's in the movie.
Toes in the carpet?
No, I'm talking about the not wearing shoes.
I think it was. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've read it, so I'm trying to think like specific things.
Another thing that was taught, the shoe thing.
Yeah.
The shoe thing, that is like exceptional setup payoff. Like, you know, the first scene.
Oh yeah, they set it up way early.
He's like, take off your shoes, your socks, walk around, make fists with your toes. Then he makes fists with his toes. He's barefoot. There's the thing of him trying on the terrorist shoes. And it's like, oh, it's too small.
Yep.
And that all leads up to shoot the glass.
Oh, it's so good.
One thing that I really appreciated on the rewatch of this movie at the very beginning is that dude on the plane, he is giving McClane doomy eyes.
Oh,
Like,
he's into him.
I'm convinced that him talking about the toe thing is just him trying to flirt with McClane. I'm like, look at this hot piece of man meat.
There is actually a cut out part of that scene where the air hostess hits on him.
Yeah.
And it's cut out. It was on the DVD ages ago, like extended versions of like scenes or something, and the air hostess hits on, which is why when he walks away, he gives that really weird look back because she hit on him. I can't remember how she did it. It was like really cringy, like Lucky Bear or something. She said or something like that. You know, something really cringy.
Ugh.
Yeah, and that's why he has that really weird look back. That's yeah.
That would have been a great way to like get into LA.
Everyone's hitting on McClane.
I mean, you gotta love that hair.
Yeah. It's going to go away soon.
That was the joke.
Don't hold on to it. If you talk about someone with good hair, Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He is a fantastically attractive villain.
I think that it was a joyful thing for action movies of the time, is that villains generally had really good hair.
They did for a while.
And do you know what? That's his first film.
Oh yeah. I thought he had one thing before, like as like a walk-on role. This was his first leading role.
Maybe, but this was the first. Like from
was his
everything I read,
breakout.
it was his first actual role because he was a stage actor.
That's right.
He was a stage actor. This was his first film.
I get him and John Hamm mixed up a lot because like John Hamm was like an acting teacher doing fuck all until he got Mad Men, and then I always get him confused with Alan Rickman because he also got started much later in life.
Except they don't
Well,
look anything else.
Cigarette smoking
I
man.
just
The
need
next
their
Files is
backstory, not them as
like
people. All right, I think that's pretty much everything we can say on this thing.
Oh, we didn't talk about the cops at all. Oh, but
Oh no, we didn't
man,
talk about
that
Carl Winslow
man
at all.
love at the end of the movie. Oh my god.
Oh,
is-
every time I've watched this movie since I've gotten old enough to understand relationships, I've always wanted when he's walking out with Holly and he's been shot and he's just gonna go into a limo and go home instead of going to a hospital like he fucking
He
should.
really should go to hospital.
All I wanted
He
as soon as he
died on the way home.
As soon as he sees the guy from Family Matters, I just really want him just to drop Holly and just go straight
Oh,
for
it's
him.
so beautiful.
I'm
Because
done with you.
their eyes lock. The sea of people moves. It's just like boom, they're electric to each other.
You just need all the nat sound to just slowly fade out, bring up the romantic cue, and just have them just embrace and just start
John
making out like
McClane could be
crazy.
an amazing
They already had the fog
gay
there.
icon.
Oh yeah.
He could be an amazing gay icon right there. Be like, the reason their marriage didn't work is because he actually just isn't into women, and this is
Marriage
his
didn't work
man.
Because I'm in love with that man.
He understands
Oh, I've only ever spoken
me.
to on a radio and have no idea how he looks.
But
But
that's
he knows.
true love right
But-
there.
It's just a shame
He's
that
my Twinkie.
it's just it's just
That was good.
it's just a shame that fan fiction did not exist back then.
I'm
does
sure
now,
it did.
though.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
It was just very private.
I don't know how that makes it better, but it does. All
I
right.
do want to call it. Nope, never mind. I forgot it.
Now we've said everything we can say
All
about the movie. So let's move into. I wasn't going to do quotes, but I feel like we probably still should. because this is easily one of the most quotable movies I think of all time. There's the big ones, there's the little ones.
Yeah.
Some as big as your head.
Nobody can have the obvious one.
If you need it, you can use it, but I don't
But
think
there's
you
that
need
many others you shouldn't.
because mine is not the obvious one, but it is still one of them, and it's just because I used to say it all the fucking time, and I've slowly phased it out of my speech, but all the time, especially while playing video games, if I ever was playing a game where I had somebody drop in, it was always "Welcome to the party, pal." 'Cause I just love it. It's so good.
See, that should be how the podcast starts now.
Yeah.
You address the audience. Welcome to the party, pal. This is after the hype.
I'll think about it.
Okay. Oh, cool.
I like changing it every week, so that's how I probably should have started.
Do
This
a different language each time.
Oh, there we go.
So for me, it's favorite quote in the film. It's difficult to pick one, but I just love this one just because of how the impact it has on it. It's, Hans is addressing the people and says, "I want this to be professional, reasonable." But Mr. Takagi did not see it that way, so he won't be joining us for the rest of his life. And it's just that. Oh, the reaction, everyone's like, oh. But it's like, I'm there going, that's an amazing line.
I like when he's calling the dispatch. And like, this is reserved for, it's a private channel for police. And he's like, what does it look like? No fucking shit, lady. Does it sound like I'm ordering a pizza? And just the look on her face is like chef's kiss in terms of a funny moment in this.
God, I miss Bruce Willis.
Yeah, back when he gave a shit.
Yeah, it was so nice.
Yeah.
Chewie, favorite line?
I forgot the one that I said I was going to do.
I know, you shouted it out too. I don't remember either. For those of you who don't know, Chewie is the best person to watch movies with. I know I'm very biased because I'm married to her, but she is the best person to watch movies with.
Why?
The shit you shout out in movies is just the... When we went and saw... I'm just killing time while you look up for a line. When we went and saw Legion in theaters, the Paul Bentley movie, oh my God.
That was a movie.
She was a running riff track throughout the entire thing. It made the entire experience that much better.
That movie was amazing. I just... What was I saying? She's pregnant with
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman. Yeah, she's pregnant with God. Clearly, it's Morgan Freeman.
Talking at that level in the theater, by the way, which is not the norm. It's just that movie just brought it out of it.
Oh my God, I'm so annoyed that I forgot the quote. I need to start writing these things down.
Well, there is the obvious one.
Which one is that?
Shoot the glass.
Or
my favorite bit of that whole thing. He says it in German. It's like, Karl, she's in French, and Karl's like, what? And he goes, shoot the glass. It's like, you're German. You should have understood it.
Well, one great moment that I did appreciate and
Yes.
works perfectly good for my sense of humor is how Hans is faking this like altruism shit.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes through this huge thing about like he needs these guys released from prison in Sri Lanka. And the guy's like Asian Dawn movement. And Hans goes, I read about them in Time magazine. It's great.
And I love everyone's reaction as well. It's like cuts to McLean. What the fuck?
he was a really good thief.
He was a really good thief.
and
he
he played
did a lot
the-
of research.
Until
the
he
F-
wasn't.
He played the cops in the FBI so hard.
Yeah.
It was so delicious.
The FBI agents were okay. The deputy chief, whatever dude that comes along, he sucks.
This reminds me of Nam. I was a kid.
Yeah, I was in junior high, dickhead.
But the whole time,
I
like,
love that. This is Agent Johnson. No, the other one. Me and my friend who used to like equally both like that. We always used to joke about what did the guy say to him on the other end of the phone for him to go, no, the other one. We used to joke about like, hey, I got that blow that you wanted. It's like, no, the other one.
oh my God, we didn't even talk about the newscasters.
Oh God.
All there is to say about him is, no, I am God.
But no, one of my favorite moments in this movie is seriously when we first see the newscasters and the guy from Biodome is going up to the other guy on TV and talking at him, and just that stink face that the guy on TV
Harvey,
gives
we're
him.
on the air.
Oh, it's amazing. Like, that is some
the immediate
great A.
switch to that smile is like, good evening. This is
Great A stink face. And then when he's done smiling doing his low thing, he turns back to him and gives it to him again.
The follow-up stink face is the
Oh,
best.
it's so
the
good.
newsreaders I completely forgot about because they've got one of the best moments in the film of like, so the terrorists are going to be going through, the hostages were going to be going through a late stage of the Helsinki syndrome, as in Helsinki, Finland, so Helsinki, Sweden. Finland.
And just that,
And
like,
the producer just goes, oh, and just like face palms. and the smug look on the reporter is because he's like, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then he gets a swift punch to the face.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, different reporter.
it's different
All the reporters are terrible.
That's the in-studio reporter who fucks that up. The other one is like is the one on site who's just like so sleazy.
I don't think the person who wrote this movie liked journalists very much.
No.
Probably not.
No.
what are they now?
Review system for this movie. I keep going back and forth on it, and it's kind of tough because I wanted to do another compare one because Matt hasn't had to do that before, but I couldn't really think of a good one for that. So I'm just going to go with stuffed bears.
Ooh.
How many stuffed bears would you give this movie?
That was not a bear, though.
It was supposed to be a bear. I know it
didn't
looks
look
like
a bear.
That bear also appears in The Hunt for Red October, another John McTiernan film.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
How many stuffed bears? Or what stuffed bear? Or what if you want to do with stuffed bears? Stuffed bear this movie.
God, this
That sounds
like,
dirty.
Sounds
One
like a
dirty, grubby
gay
stuffed
porno
bear.
now.
One grubby, grimy, dirty stuffed bear with a vest on covered in blood.
Perfect.
It's still-
John?
A bear with machine guns.
It is a bear, a nice giant big bear that you don't know what to do with when you win it at the carnival, doing the throw of a baseball ball into a milk jug, because that's
And a milk jug.
Yeah, it's classically one of the hardest ones to do. That's usually like they make it impossible, but they did it.
I need to stop following you. Yours are much better. I am going to go for one run-of-the-mill standard teddy bear. Just wherever you find one, probably like a Target, Walmart, whatever. Just a random teddy bear that has a $100 bill stuffed in it that you didn't know was there. So it looks super normal and easy, but oh wow, this thing just keeps on giving.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that works.
Now, how'd you find that $100 though? Did you stick your finger up his butt?
I don't know why that's the first place you went, but you're right.
We're talking about stuffed bears here, guys.
They had to be stuffed with something.
$100 bill.
Yeah.
And apparently my finger.
Ooh, Teddy.
So that brings today's episode to a close. Next week, assuming everything goes according to plan, will be finally the meaning of the Tree of Life.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I've been excited for this episode for a while, even though it means that I have to watch Tree of Life again, which
Yes.
bums me out because it's fucking garbage. I have never seen a movie suck its own dick as hard as the Tree of Life.
You know what?
That's not true. Short Bus does it way better. Right in the beginning, it comes all over his own face. Check out Short Bus.
Yeah, for self-sucking.
Self-sucking over opening credits. Short Bus. Joking aside, Short Bus is a really good movie. You should see it. But there is that right in the beginning.
Okay.
So we have Meaning of the Tree of Life. And then I have a feeling, I know I've promised a lot of episodes coming up, and I've forgotten that Shazam has hit DVD.
Oh, yeah.
So right after the Meaning of the Tree of Life will be Shazam. And then we'll move into all the episodes that I promised you. I'm going to
Cool.
keep coming down the line.
All right.
Random plugs. Check out Venture Brothers every Monday. Check out Damage Boost every Friday. Check out Samwise every Tuesday. Check out the stuff that John's going to say.
Demon Days every Wednesday.
There you go. Be sure to listen to us every Thursday if you're not doing that already. Matt, anything to plug?
Yeah, check out my articles. They go out every Friday usually.
Usually.
Yeah, we've got a new copy editor working now who's
Friend of yours, right?
friend of mine. Yeah, she's just flying through them. She was on to train for 5 hours and got through 3 articles and that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever officially welcomed her to the ATH family. Now I'm blanking on her last name. It's Tracy
Holmes.
Tracy Holmes.
Yeah.
Very much welcome and thank you for joining us at ATH.
Yeah, so there's an article that I'm working on, which it's going to be a big one, huge.
A website crashing one.
Potentially, if
Okay.
the
I was gonna
right
say
people
please no, but
retweet.
it really does good for us. So
Yeah.
keep crashing with
No, that is a good problem.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it used to be the dig effect. You wanted the dig effect where...
Yeah. Potentially, if the right people retweet it, yeah, this could crash the website. It's going to be very comprehensive, very long. I don't think I will say what it's going to be yet. I want to leave people thinking, ooh,
I'm going to spoil it. It's about Scooby-Doo. I'm sorry.
Ugh.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ruin it for
It's
you.
about the inclusion of Scrappy-Doo across the franchise of Scooby-Doo and how he has changed it for the worse.
I mean, I'm excited to read it. I really am.
Me too.
Now I kind of want you to write that as well.
It's not about Scooby-Doo. It has an S in it.
Scrappy-Doo? Just Scrappy-Doo?
Puppy
I'm getting warm.
That is Chewie's way of saying we're done. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening.
I got the sun on my back right now.
He's quite toasty.
And I'm not acclimatized to this.
It's true. Thank you everyone very much for listening.
Bye.
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 Yippee-ki-yay.
See you later, bozos.